The residents of Baltimore were shocked to know that they were not safe in their homes. The members of the gun track task force were engaging in dishonest business practices, including fraud, extortion, and robbery.
Corrupt cops who swore to protect and serve were nothing more than criminals.
Their secrets were revealed in 2017, and since then, the Baltimore story was covered by the media extensively. How did they get caught? How did they manage to save their faces all these years? The significant news that this legendary police fraud gang had been exposed stemmed from the death of Freddie Gray. Given that Freddie died unexpectedly while in police custody, the Baltimore police station was under investigation. To find out how Freddie died and what caused it, an investigation was carried out. According to the inquiry report, 6 Baltimore police officers were involved in the arrest of Freddie Gray. He was caught selling drugs when he was detained. He was dragged to the police van, where they locked the door. But the fact that they disregarded safety precautions and endangered Freddie's life is what went wrong. The policeman in the van was playing with him like he was a toy. He was treated inhumanely and subjected to terrible torture. He was prohibited from using a seatbelt, and his wrists and feet were bound. He was not permitted to have any type of basic safety equipment. His spinal cord and neck were seriously hurt. He was unable to withstand the torture and passed away a week later as a result. There was something strange about the police officers. Therefore, the Department of Justice decided to look into it further. Rod Rosenstein of the DEA decided to investigate and expose this terrible tale. These 6 officers were accused of manslaughter for having little compassion for Freddie, knowing that the police force they had blindly trusted could do something terrible, shocked the public. This top-notch police unit was comprised of Thomas Allers, Momadou Gondo, Jamel Rayam, Evodio Hendricks, Maurice Ward, Marcus Taylor, Daniel Herschel, and Wayne Jenkins. Everyone paid attention to Wayne since he was the leader. Wayne Jenkins was the worst law enforcement official there has ever been. The GTF was run by him, and he was in charge. You can refer to him as the mastermind. The gun track task force was uncovered in 2017 by a unit member who confessed to his crimes on a video that the DEA heard. Gondo was in touch with the narcotics gang. The investigators' discovery of the crucial clue that caused them to begin to question the police officers marked this moment as the pivotal one. Gondo's confessions were all recorded by the DEA. He disclosed his involvement in drug sales and use. The DA was surprised when he subsequently detailed other crimes in which he had participated. These police officers have committed a seemingly endless number of crimes. They had a good plan that they followed exactly every day without fail. The drug dealers were their major focus. They would target and torture these individuals. All the narcotics would be removed and sold again. They made more money from this than they could have as a police officer. They go looking for drug dealers to extort drugs and cash from every day. They lack any emotional attributes that a person should have, along with any sense of professional responsibility for the work they conduct as police officers. The only thing they cared about was gathering more drugs to sell. They will make a significant amount of money from this. They did not shoot other individuals with the illegal guns they carry, but instead unintentionally planted explosives on them. They could then detain anyone in possession of an unauthorized firearm. These officers were brought before the court to make confessions after being apprehended. Hearing about all the crimes these officers committed in a short amount of time startled the jury. Wayne once observed some men robbing a drugstore with the assistance of other officers. They valiantly put an end to the robbery, but they were not acting alone. They kept up the robbery and took drugs from that location. After plundering the business, they sold the drugs to additional drug dealers. Through that, they became very wealthy. A prominent drug dealer suspect's house was searched without warning after they stole his house keys. Then they went ahead and made off with $100,000 from there. They used to indiscriminately drive cars at high speeds in a crowd of people, exhibiting a cruel mentality. These policemen hunt people who flee for their life before arresting them. By carrying out such awful deeds, they feel strong and joyful. They fitted illegal tracking devices in the cars of narcotics dealers to follow them. The police officers would be able to find out where and when these drug sellers will be using this equipment. The cops from the GTTF either raid their residences or steal their drugs and cash. They committed all of these acts over the last 3 years without anyone even suspecting them. They discriminated against and held a negative attitude towards black people. Throughout this brief time, they stole somewhere around $300,000. They stole 7 pounds of cocaine during these 3 years. From the narcotics sellers, they also took 43 pounds of marijuana. In addition to this, they converted the proceeds from the sale of pricey, one-of-a-kind jewels into cash. According to their respective portions, they divided up the entire sum of money and spent it all on themselves. A group of police officers could not possibly have committed such heinous atrocities while on duty. The court could not believe it. They received a sentence of 112 years. They must serve that sentence in prison. Jenkins, the chief of the GTTF, received a particularly lengthy sentence because he was the perpetrator of all of these crimes. Jenkins is currently serving a sentence of 25 years in a Kentucky prison. These policemen's crimes had a significant impact on the Baltimore Police Department. Both the general public and other departments must come to trust them. Others now view them with contempt, since what this policeman did was unjustifiable. The HBO miniseries with that title is called We Own This City. The Baltimore incident served as inspiration for the producers, who turned it into a miniseries and showed it to the audience. Even among female police officers, there are nasty ones. Let's witness the account of a female police officer who was deceived by love and wealth. A female police officer named Antoinette Frank and her boyfriend Rogers Lacaze committed a terrible crime together. The horrifying murder occurred on March 4, 1995, stunning the residents of New Orleans. Together with her family, Chauveau managed her restaurant. They made a substantial fortune through their family business, Kim Ainge, to watch after their business. They had enlisted Ronald Williams as a part-time security guard. In his spare time, Ronald works there. He used to be a police officer when Frank and her boyfriend, a drug dealer, stormed into the restaurant and demanded money. Chauveau called Ronald to the dining room to give his wages. Frank began threatening Chauveau and her brother. Ronald tried to intervene to defend the siblings, but Frank's lover shot him. She panicked since Frank hadn't anticipated things to go worse. Chau and her brother hid in the walk-in fridge as Frank turned around to hunt for her companion. The older siblings, Kuang and Ha Vu, were cleaning the restaurant when the incident occurred. Frank questioned them over the money, but Chau had hidden it in the microwave. She shot the 2 older siblings as soon as Frank discovered the money. Both of them received death sentences after being tried in court. Frank was transferred to a Louisiana prison for women. Do you believe there are other officers like this in law enforcement? Do you anticipate a repeat of this incident? Let us know in the comments.
In September 2014, a concerning incident unfolded during a police accountability march in Lynn, Massachusetts, shedding light on officers allegedly breaking the law while being captured on camera. The incident was documented by Ms. Bay, the founder of the Bay State Examiner, an independent media source focused on police interactions and accountability. While attending the march, Ms. Bay noticed an undercover police officer trailing the protest in an unmarked vehicle. Seeking accountability, she approached the officer to request his name and badge number. In a startling turn of events, the officer reportedly hit her with his vehicle.
Howdy. Sorry to bother again. Oh, hey!
Can I have your IDs?
Uh,
You guys are fine, right? Both your IDs. Pardon me? I need both your IDs.
What's the lawful reason for the request?
Because you're on private property. I don't got it yet.
I'm on private property and you get to see my...
In the back lot. You were on private property. You asked you needed to take your time. I need your IDs. IDs?
can I have yours?
I don't have one on me.
Oh, alright.
Well, go to the chief. We are.
Sure.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Can we speak to the chief? This officer has invited us to speak with him.
This incident prompted Ms. Bay to take matters into her own hands. Days later, Ms. Bay ventured to the Lynn Police Station's back lot in pursuit of evidence regarding the vehicle that had allegedly struck her. Her efforts were met with resistance from an unidentified officer who swiftly expelled her from the premises. Undeterred, she entered the police department building to file a formal complaint about the incident and to seek officer identifications. The encounter within the police station would go on to raise a myriad of legal and ethical concerns. The situation escalated when the officers on duty refused to identify themselves and labeled Miss Bay's presence as trespassing on private property. Massachusetts law, however, stipulates that police officers are required to carry identification cards and display them upon a lawful request. This refusal constituted a violation of this legal obligation.
You're welcome
What
to go
sense?
back there and take a look after.
Okay. Oh, after? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we need your IDs now.
I'm not interested in showing that at this
No?
I'm not. Yeah.
All right, so you guys are refusing? All right, then we'll just leave. There you can go. Do we want to check the...
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've invited us to speak with the
Chief's
chief.
a busy guy.
Oh.
You
Just suggested we talk to the chief.
Well,
Yeah, but I guess
Uh,
apparently he's not...
I'm sorry,
He
what's-
just told you to do that, right?
No, you told us to talk to the chief.
Yeah, and you came around here and he's not coming down here.
Oh, right.
So maybe you should call him
Call
and
the
make an appointment.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. We can do that.
And may I have both of your names and ID
the
cards?
time.
It's badge 88.
Badge 88.
Badge 88?
Yep.
The officers ordered Miss Bay to vacate the premises, accusing her of creating a disturbance and trespassing. In response, she asserted her right to continue recording for news-gathering purposes. A crucial distinction emerged. While Massachusetts acknowledges the right to record police, this right is not absolute and must adhere to reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions that safeguard officer safety, informants, and victims. The incident also underscored the nuanced relationship between the First Amendment and trespassing laws. While Ms. Bay's intent to file a complaint justified her presence to some extent, officers claimed she was trespassing and sought to remove her from the building. Legal precedents highlighted the complexity of these issues, including the right to record police versus the limitations imposed on such activities within police stations.
Not with you. Who do I make a complaint with?
The chief's the best guy.
The chief's the best guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So make an appointment.
Okay.
What's up with that? What is it that you're looking for?
Well, I found the car that hit me on Friday. I was reporting it earlier. It's out back.
Okay, and what are you doing going in private property videotaping police cars?
What private property?
The property that's parked out back there posted is no trespassing, authorized personnel only.
I didn't see that.
Well, it's posted all over the entrances to that parking lot.
Interesting.
It is interesting, but it is also posted.
Okay.
You're subject to arrest for going back into private property.
Am I being
Videotaping
arrested?
police cars. Huh?
Am I being
I
arrested?
said you are subject to arrest.
Okay.
Despite these legal complexities, officers' conduct raised questions about their intentions and commitment to accountability. Their refusal to take Ms. Bay's claims seriously and their hindrance of her ability to file a complaint cast doubts on their willingness to engage transparently with civilian concerns. The encounter raised concerns about the potential misuse of laws to deter individuals from lodging complaints against law enforcement officers. In the aftermath of the incident, Ms. Bay submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to the Lynn's Record Department.
The officer in charge will be up with you when he gets a second.
Okay.
Talk to you and get your complaint.
Well, somebody does need to tell
Okay.
him that that's what's going
Well,
on.
if he's
because
already done that, then your complaint has been filed and documented.
There's information that he literally doesn't have because I didn't have it until right now. When I went back, I found the car. So I would like to tell him that the car is back there, that it's been repaired, even though they didn't report it, I guess. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm filming this for news gathering purposes at this point.
Yet her efforts were met with resistance, and it remains uncertain whether the department ever responded to her request. Her documentation of the event and her subsequent efforts to highlight the challenges faced by citizens seeking accountability and transparency within law enforcement agencies. Now let's move on to the next investigation. In a noteworthy incident that unfolded on June 5, 2015, the spotlight fell on Michael Hoffman, a private investigator and an advocate for the First Amendment. The scenario took place in Jacksonville, Florida, as Hoffman engaged in conducting surveillance as part of a case. His objective was to track down an individual's movements and actions across multiple locations. However, the situation took an unexpected turn when the person under surveillance alleged that Hoffman was stalking her.
Investigator of some sort?
Can I ask why you pulled me over, sir?
I pulled you over because the young ladies came over there and said you've been following her since she left the airport yesterday. So I want to know who you are.
Have I committed a crime?
No, but I'm conducting an investigation. Have you been following that young lady? I mean, if you're an investigator, investigate away. But if you're somebody harassing her or stalking her, that's against the law. Me pulling you over to find out who you are is me doing my job.
Am I free to go?
No, you are not. Not until I find out who you are. I'm conducting an investigation. Do you have your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance on you?
Have you pulled me for a traffic violation, sir?
No, sir, I've already explained that to you. Now you can play the back and forth rigmarole.
This accusation prompted a response from law enforcement, specifically an officer from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. The encounter between Hoffman and the officer was marked by a clash of rights and principles. As the officer initiated a traffic stop, the interaction was captured on camera and later disseminated on the Awakening the Masses YouTube channel. The video depicted the exchange as the officer sought to ascertain the veracity of the stalking claim. He engaged Hoffman in conversation, asking about his identity, purpose, and whether he was an investigator. Hoffman's response was calculated and assertive. He began by asking the officer the reason for pulling him over, which initiated a dialogue regarding the stalking allegation. The officer cited the complainant's assertion that Hoffman had been tailing her since previous day. Despite Hoffman's protestations, the officer deemed it necessary to investigate the matter. He explained that his actions were guided by the need to ascertain whether Hoffman was involved in harassing or stalking behavior, which is legally prohibited.
Oh, tell him to come up here. We're at the 8100 block of Arlington Express.
I don't answer questions, Deputy.
You don't answer questions. You just stalk young ladies. Just stand by them. Stand by.
Your name and badge number, Deputy? Your name and badge number, Deputy?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Name and badge number, sir?
Simpson 66190.
Masinsin, M-A-S-I-N-S-I-N. Sir, I'd like to know why I'm being detained.
No, someone's saying that you're claiming you're stalking them. Are you an investigator or anything?
Okay, let me make this clear, sir. I would like for you to articulate what crime you...
The crux of the disagreement hinged on the rights invoked by Hoffman. When the officer requested identification, Hoffman invoked his Fifth Amendment rights, a constitutional privilege against self-incrimination. This assertion caused a pivotal shift in the interaction, as Hoffman insisted he would only speak in the presence of legal counsel. The officer, seemingly perplexed by this response, requested that Hoffman bring his attorney to the scene for further questioning. Hoffman's stance was rooted in legal principles. He argued that during a Terry stop, law enforcement could pose a limited number of questions to establish identity and to determine if any suspicions were valid. However, Hoffman remained steadfast in asserting that he was under no obligation to answer questions without the presence of legal representation, especially considering the potential implications of his responses. The officer's actions were grounded in the assumption that a stalking accusation, combined with a corroborated vehicle description, constituted reasonable suspicion for a stop and investigation. This view aligned with legal precedent, exemplified by the 2002 case of United States v. Sokolow, which allows law enforcement to act on a tip if it bears indicia of reliability. The Supreme Court has ruled that reasonable suspicion necessitates a particularized and objective basis for suspecting wrongdoing. Despite the differing interpretations, the encounter eventually concluded with the officer permitting Hoffman to leave. The tension between rights and responsibilities underscored the complexity of police-citizen interactions.
Some professional courtesy and treat me with the respect I deserve. What is your name and badge number?
Well, hey, sir, I gave you mine. 0051.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy. Was that so hard?
No.
The law states I don't have to give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime.
You don't.
Then am I free to go? Because this is an illegal detainment.
At this time.
This is an illegal detainment.
But like I said, your criminal matches the description we were given.
I respect that.
Doesn't mean
I respect
you're guilty.
That. I respect that. You're talking to the next law enforcement officer, buddy. Now, I understand you're doing no fault with that. You are doing your job.
Okay.
And the mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make...
Shedding light on the importance of understanding legal rights during such encounters. Hoffman's case emphasized that individuals have the right to remain silent and request legal counsel during a Terry stop, while officers must balance their duty to investigate with the requirement to respect constitutional rights. The incident became a case study in navigating the delicate balance between law enforcement's duty to investigate and an individual's rights to privacy and legal protection. As the video disseminated, it sparked discussions about the scope of police authority during stops, the validity of accusations, and the intricacies of the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. Michael Hoffman's assertiveness in upholding his rights and the officer's attempts to fulfill his duty encapsulated a pivotal moment in the ongoing dialogue about law enforcement practices and individual freedoms. Now let's take a look at the next investigation. In April 2020, a situation involving Kelen Hill and Denver police officers unfolded after a minor traffic incident on Interstate 25 in Colorado. The incident escalated into legal disputes, allegations of rights violations, and concerns over police conduct. The episode began when Kelen Hill, age 25, called 911 after a minor collision with two other drivers. Officer Thomas Ludwig of the Denver Police Department arrived at the scene and initiated discussions with the other individuals involved while Hill was being evaluated by paramedics inside an ambulance. The situation took a turn when Hill exited the ambulance and noticed Officer Ludwig searching his vehicle without consent.
What are you doing? Stepping to me? Huh? What the f is in my face? What the f dude? What is this? Oh, what am I? What the f?
What are you stopping the cops for, man?
I did not ask you to get out of my car.
No, I watched you. I got you on my video camera.
I asked you to get out of my car. That's it.
You're being an asshole to everybody.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
So, here. Oh. Good to break the work, brother. Ow. You can't just hit like up. Money. What just happened? You got ankle monitor too, huh? Wow.
On probation, I'm sure.
I'm not on probation.
The probation officer's gonna love that.
I'm not on probation at all.
The officer claimed he detected the odor of marijuana, implying that this gave him the authority to conduct the search. The legality of such searches based on marijuana odor varies across states, and in Colorado, where recreational marijuana is legal, the odor can contribute to probable cause for a search. However, legal nuances exist. Hill confronted Officer Ludwig about the search, leading to a heated argument. The officer's aggressive response escalated the tension instead of employing de-escalation techniques. While Hill's behavior might have prompted concern, it's questionable whether it warranted the officer's level of aggression. Hill was arrested and charged with interference with police activity. These charges were later dropped, but the incident spurred Hill to file a lawsuit against the city of Denver and the involved officers.
I'm not intoxicated at all.
Go ahead and have a seat in there.
Go for it. Please go for it.
Okay, have a seat.
Y'all are illegally searching my car.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Put your feet up.
ID, bro.
Push yourself all the way back.
Oh.
He alleged violations of his First and Fourth Amendment rights and claimed damages, including missing a master's degree final exam due to his incarceration. Critiques of the officer's conduct centered on several points. Firstly, despite the possible legality of the initial search, the decision to arrest Hill was deemed unnecessary and potentially unconstitutional. Officer Ludwig's unprofessional behavior, particularly his failure to de-escalate the situation, garnered criticism. His confrontational approach escalated the disagreement rather than diffusing it, highlighting the significance of emotional awareness in police interactions. Moreover, the officers faced criticism for their response to Hill's request for medical assistance. According to the Denver Police Department's Operation Manual, officers are required to provide medical attention to individuals in custody. Hill's expression of uncertainty about his injury should have prompted a more compassionate response from the officers, as opposed to the callous indifference displayed. This incident underscores the complexities of police interactions and the importance of effective de-escalation techniques. While the legality of certain actions can be ambiguous, officers should prioritize public safety and citizens' rights. Emotions and situational awareness play crucial roles in determining the outcome of such encounters.